Just imagine, a poor boy who used to sleep on the streets becomes the world's most famous football player. That is what happens in our story today. This is a true story about a 117-year-old boy named Michael, who often wandered from one place to another because his mother was a drug addict. He had been staying at his friend Steven's house for some time. Steven's father, Tony, wanted to send Steven and Michael to a special school. However, getting admission to the school was very difficult, so Tony spoke to Coach Cotton and explained that both Steven and Michael were very good players. Eventually, Coach Cotton agreed to talk to the principal and teachers about their admission. Finally, the principal agreed and both children were admitted to the school. In the initial days at school, Michael was having a lot of trouble studying there. He never completed the assignments and homework given by the teachers on time. Then, one night at Tony's house, Michael overheard Tony and his wife fighting. Tony's wife was unhappy with Michael staying at their home because she considered Michael a burden to their family. Upon hearing this, Michael left Tony's house as he did not want to be a burden on anyone. He had no shelter. Therefore, he began wandering and started to fill his stomach with popcorn left by people at the stadium. One day, Michael went near the children playing in the park, but upon seeing his large frame, the children ran away in fear. Just then, a child named SJ approached him and said, "Brother, come smiling here. If not, people will keep running away from you in fear." Then one night, as SJ was traveling in the car with his parents, he suddenly saw Michael walking alone in the rain. SJ's mother, Annie, noticed that Michael had no warm clothes and was shivering from the cold. She got out of the car and went to Michael and offered him to come to their home when she realized he was planning to spend the night outside the school. Thus, she invited Michael to their house. Upon reaching SJ's abode, Michael was captivated by the splendor of their grand residence. Indeed, SJ's dad Sean owned a renowned eatery, whilst her mum practiced interior design. It was there that Michael was introduced to SJ's big sister Colin. They were completely in the dark about his identity, his origins, or his past. Come sunrise, Annie noticed Michael was no longer inside. Surveying the premises, she noticed him approaching the exit. She hastened after him, extending an offer to partake in her family's Thanksgiving festivities. Michael paused, but then accepted the invitation. They celebrated Thanksgiving together. Later on, Annie insisted on buying new clothes for Michael, as he always wore the same outfit. But Michael said there was no need since he had plenty of clothes at his mother's house. Next, Anne escorted Michael to the residence of his mother. However, when they got there, Michael noticed a sign on the entrance stating that his mother had moved out. Lacking any personal attire, he accompanied Anne on a shopping trip to purchase garments as she had proposed. Michael felt deeply grateful to Anne and her family for all these things, as he had never been fortunate enough to have such things before. During this time, Michael also began to excel in his studies as his teachers started paying more attention to him. Additionally, Sean recognized Michael's athletic talent and persuaded him to join the school's football team. When he was selected, Sean took the whole family out for a celebratory dinner. Sean and his family treated Michael just like their own son. When it was time for the Christmas card pictures, they included Michael in the family photo. From that day on, even Sean and Annie's relatives and friends knew that Michael was now a part of their family. Then one day, when Annie went out to eat with her girlfriends, they taunted her, saying her daughter Collins must feel so insecure with Michael at their house. According to them, a big and black boy like Michael should not be allowed in the house at all. Should Annie, feeling down due to her friend's limited views, come back from that place and inquire with Collins whether she held any objections to Michael's presence in the house, Collins would assure her that such issues did not exist, since she also viewed Michael as a member of their household. This brought great comfort to Annie. At the same time, in the educational setting, while every student showed prejudice towards Michael on account of his dark complexion, Collins consistently showed him kindness. Before long, Michael started training with his school's football team. It was his first time playing football, so he was a little unfamiliar with the rules. The coach tried hard to explain the rules to him, but still Michael often made mistakes. Despite this, Sean and Annie spoke with Coach Cotton and said that if Michael were trained well, he could go very far. Meanwhile, Michael was training with all his heart and soul, with SJ supporting him. Then, after some time, said that she wanted to adopt Michael. Initially, Sean disagreed because they knew nothing about Michael's past, but eventually, Annie convinced him. When Annie filled out the adoption papers, she discovered that Michael's father had died in an accident and his mother was a drug addict. Since Michael's mother was alive, Annie decided to seek her permission before adopting him. Told her that she would always be Michael's mother and could come to see him whenever she wanted. Dennis also thought that living with Annie and Sean would improve Michael's life, which is why he gave them permission to adopt Michael. Michael used to be a boy without a home or affection. However, now he resides in a welcoming home surrounded by a caring family. Subsequently, one unfortunate day, Michael and SJ found themselves in a vehicle that was suddenly involved in a disastrous crash. They both made it through, yet Michael felt profound distress upon realizing SJ was hurt due to his actions. Continuously apologizing to Leg Ann, he feared losing everything, but Miss Sue calmly assured him that the accident wasn't his fault. In fact, he had quickly turned the vehicle and saved SJ's life. A few days later, during football practice, Coach Cotton scolded Michael as he was not understanding the rules. Michael wasn't putting his heart into it, so Leg Ann explained to him that he should protect his teammates just like he protects his family. Leg Ann additionally outlined the guidelines for him, presenting them from another perspective. After that, Michael understood and started playing by the rules. Since then, Michael became a very good football player and was now fully ready to play big matches. Soon, his school team had a match against another school team. At first, Michael's team was struggling. Players from the other team were even making fun of his skin color. When they pushed and tripped Michael, the coach stood up for him. Seeing this, Michael got even more energized and started playing for his team with renewed vigor. Soon, Michael turned the tables in the game and now his team was dominating the opponents. On the other side, SJ was sitting in the audience filming Michael's powerful playing. Ultimately, it was because of Michael that their school team won the match, making everyone proud of him. The next day, SJ sent the footage of Michael's football match to coaches at different colleges, and impressed by his skills, they were all quite impressed. One bright day, as Michael practiced with his school squad, a group of college coaches arrived to observe his prowess. Coach Cotton summoned Michael to showcase his skills publicly. Observing his performance, the coaches felt astounded, having never encountered such a masterful athlete. Afterward, there was a keen competition among coaches to have Michael join their college football rosters. Consequently, Michael garnered multiple scholarship propositions from various universities, yet he could not accept them because he wasn't that good in academics. He needed better grades for those scholarships. That's when Annie hired a private tutor named Sue to help Michael with his studies so he could get the scholarship and attend a good college. Thanks to the collaboration with Annie and Miss Sue, Michael passed with good marks. Now he was eligible to take the scholarship from the university and get admitted. Michael had many options and a lot of media were already there to hear his decision. At last, Michael selected his college and afterward became a member of its soccer squad. In the time leading up to school, he received an invitation to meet with the NCAA. Afterwards, due to suspicions that Annie and Sean's household showed great kindness towards Michael, the NCAA dispatched an inspector because they wanted to take advantage of Michael's abilities. According to the NCAA, Michael had chosen that university on the advice of Sean and Annie, as they both had studied there. Hearing all this, Michael abruptly left the interview and asked Annie what the real purpose behind adopting him was. Disheartened by the NCAA's allegations, Michael left Annie there and never returned to their home. Afterwards, he went in search of his biological mother and reached the village where he found an old friend who had become a gang leader. He invited Michael to party with his other friends and offered him beer. Once a boy commenced making inappropriate jokes about Anne and Collins, which infuriated Michael, and he fiercely defended them by fighting back against the boys. Subsequently, after giving it considerable thought, he reached out to Anne. She told him that she had helped Michael because she believed he had potential and would go very far. Tubney explained that they never wanted to take advantage of him but always encouraged him to keep moving forward so that he could reach his true potential. Then Michael called her mom and apologized for misunderstanding her. Later, he told an NAACP investigator that he chose the university because his parents had studied there. In the end, the story shows us a real picture of Michael and his family. Eventually, Michael becomes a great American football player, so let me know your favorite game in the comments. See you next time.